Well, hello everybody. This is Mickey, back with you from Hills Mill Homestead. This is the first week in April. Nice, beautiful morning. Gonna have about 80-degree temperatures today. And I hope between the wind and my chickens that you're able to hear me. But today I want to talk to you about the method that I use for my raised beds for electroculture. Now, I planted these onions about 3 weeks ago, and these are the intermediate onions for zone 7, and that's very particular when you're wanting to raise onions, that you know whether or not you're in a short day, long day, or intermediate day zone. So for here in Tennessee, it's intermediate. I've got 2 rows of Superstar. I've got a row of Candy Red, and then I've got a row of Candy. And you can see that these are a little bit thick, but these are where I planted the little small plants. And as they grow, we'll just eat those for green onions. Now over here, this is a bed of potatoes that I planted. I guess it's been about 3 days ago. We had another group of school kids come through, and I held back on some of the planting on the potatoes so they could help out. And boy, they enjoyed that. We'll see if we can add a little clip in on that. But I also added another row on each side of the candy onions. And another thing to consider is everything that you're planting, if you can companion plant with another plant, it's just going to be beneficial. Now, all plants, you have to be careful about what you're companion planting with, because all plants are not compatible. But as far as potatoes, onions go great with potatoes. They go great with peppers, tomatoes. Whenever we're clear of our last frost date, I'm going to put a row, as I've got it laid out, I'm going to put a row of peppers down the middle of this. But today I want to talk to you a little more about electroculture and the method that I'm using. And actually I'm just using natural electricity that is in our atmosphere. There's no secret about it. It's always been here since Earth has existed. That's the part of the existence of our Earth. But I want to show you a couple things that I use. And this one is one of my antennas that I make that is great for the ground, but particularly for your containers and hanging baskets. And the benefit from using copper to receive the natural electricity that is in the air, it's incredible of the benefits that the soil is going to receive, the plants are going to receive. They're going to get a boost from the electricity in the soil that's going to enhance the microorganisms. It even helps drought resistance. Now, there's just many benefits to electroculture and all the different methods. One of the very first videos that I put out about electroculture was capturing the energy from lightning. And that's just not, folks, it's not something that I just came up with. I read this in an organic book in the 70s, and I've been using some sort of electroculture methods in my garden ever since. Now, so guys, one of the other methods that I use for this raised bed is my antenna that I've made out of a shepherd's hook. Now, ideally, this is about 6 foot tall. And I'm going to just give you an example of how it works. So as far as natural electricity that's in our atmosphere, every foot or so there's a volt of electricity, natural electricity. So this 6 foot antenna acts like an umbrella that is receiving the natural electricity and bringing it into the soil. The copper wire comes all the way down to the bottom of the roots of anything that's planted. So as this being an umbrella, think of it as a larger umbrella, and then these little antennas are the smaller umbrellas that are enhancing what is coming from this antenna. let me just tell you, if you wanna do the research on electroculture, there's a lot of research out there, and just look into it yourself, do your own research, and you may come up with a different way of a different method that you'll use for electroculture. Let me show you something else. I was reminded of this, and it probably ages me just a little bit, but back in the day, before a cell phone was even heard of, the communication for you being out on the road was a CB radio. And I'm going to tell you, all through my years of gardening, one thing I always looked for was stakes for baskets, anything that was reusable. I started out years and years with the wooden tomato stakes and all that. They last a season or two. But as I went along, I would gather any CB antenna that was no good, maybe from a junkyard on a truck sitting somewhere in a junkyard, and I would use these antennas, drive them in the ground, and I'd tie my baskets to them. And here's a couple that I just got laying around that I've always held on to, and I'm here to tell you these are wrapped in copper, and when you drive this into the soil, it's going to receive natural electricity from the ether, from our atmosphere, and it's going to bring the electricity into the soil, and it's going to enhance the microorganisms and everything that we talked about. But this is just a couple of examples, guys, and you can be creative, but anything that you can find that is copper coiled or has any sort of copper composite to it, it'll be beneficial to your soil. So I ran across these in my shed, and I just thought, goodness, how old are those? I wonder how long I've had these. But anyway, same principle. You're adding a receiver. Think of your radio. If you're off in a deep hill, maybe in the bottom of a mountain, your antenna for your radio is not going to receive as well as if you were up on a higher spot. Same thing with the antennas for receiving the natural electricity. The higher you get this antenna, the more natural electricity that it's going to receive. So anyway, that's what I wanted to show you today is my onion beds. I wanted to show you my potato bed. I have some little bulb onions also scattered in amongst the rest of these. And let me also add one thing. I get this sometimes from customers. I hate to pull this and it's already rooted, but too bad. So this is the little bulb onion that you find in the co-op or your box stores, and you buy them by the pound and all of that. Well, folks, these are great onions for a green onion. They're just going to make a really nice bushy green onion. And as far as the bulbs are not going to make onions. Now, every now and then you might get one the size of a golf ball. That's a really good bulb onion. But if you want real onions, you've got to find the plants or start them from seed, which is more difficult. But you've got to find the plants to plant. And then once they start really starting to bulb, you've got to come in and ring them and really take good care of them. Let's see if we can get this to start back again. Where'd you come from? Right here's a good spot. If it doesn't grow, it'll be okay. So I want to address another thing. So I do get a lot of comments about electroculture. Well, that's great. I love your comments. Y'all just keep those comments coming. But we also get a lot of comments on where we get our garden supplies and the drip system that I use and all that. And it's kind of, it was kind of a sticky situation a year or two ago. And so I've got it cleared now. And I'm gonna share with you where I order everything for my gardens. I've been ordering from the same place for I think about 26 years now, back to 93, whatever that is, 20, okay, longer than that. I was just talking to them recently, and that was my first order. But I'm gonna share that with you. And I'm also going to carry you up here and I'm going to show you the container garden, and I'm going to let you see for yourself if you think whether these have any effect on the soil or any effect on our plants. You're going to see for yourself. Nothing magic about it. And let me just say that if it were a fact that if I came out here at 3 a.m. in the morning and shined a flashlight on the plants would help them grow, hell, I'd be out here at 3 a.m. helping them grow. Just saying. So anything that you can use that's going to be more beneficial to your plants and your soil, I wouldn't hesitate. You know, the more you can do for your plants, the better results you're going to have, the better yields that you'll have, and the best vegetables that you cannot buy in a grocery store. So that's that. But I'm going to show you the container garden, and then I'm going to give you the information on where I've been ordering all of my garden supplies for a long time. We've had a couple of companies reach out to us, wanted to do some sponsorships for gardens and seeds and different things. And right now, we're going to stick with what I've been doing for a long time. I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it. But price-wise, there's no comparison. So I'm going to share that information with you. So you guys hang on, and hopefully we'll be back in about 2 weeks and see if these potatoes have came up. And we'll check back in on the onions. They're doing fairly well for about 3 weeks in the soil. They did go through. You're welcome. They did go through 3 days of a freeze, and one night it was down to 17. I've got a tarp over here, and I made me a rod across it and kind of put a little TP over it. And I think it's set on back a little bit. Some of the tips have turned brown, but they're coming on now. And so hopefully I'll do another video as we go along, and you can go along with us and see how the production's going and how everything's working. There's no magic to it, guys. This electroculture, there's nothing magic about it. It's just another way to enhance your production of your plants and the yields of your vegetables. And I know that it works. I've used it for a long time, so I'm just trying to share this with you. Originally, we made the video because everybody always said, Mickey, how do you grow those vegetables? And of course, I never got the big head about it. I've gave away my vegetables for many years. And so I've always tried to share everything that I know with anyone who ever asked. And so I've got a little experience behind me as far as growing the vegetables, but goodness gracious, folks, a disease, drought. Now I will have a drip system set up on everything, but there's just many factors that could happen and everything be wiped out. Hailstorm. Think about a hailstorm. I visited the Mennonites about 4 days ago. I've got all my plants. I could probably get by with going ahead and put some of them out. If it got cold, close to a frost, I could cover them up. But for a hailstorm, I've lost plants in a hailstorm before, so I'm a little more skeptical about how quickly I put them out. But anyway, stay with me. We're going to go to the container garden. I'm going to show you examples of the coil. You'll see for yourself whether you believe it works or not. And then I'm going to give you the information for everything that I order for my gardens. So stay tuned. All right, guys, so here we are in the container garden. And these 4 pots, containers, they were planted when the homeschool group came through a few days ago. But all the rest of these I planted about a month ago. And these onions, those are the bulb onions that we're just going to eat as a green onion. And this side of containers also has some green onions, but I'm also going to put peppers in all of these containers. Now, whenever I dig the potatoes, I'm going to come back with another crop to go all the way through to frost. But I want to show you some of the results from these antennas that I'm using. So hold on. So as you can see, these first four containers were not planted, and these others were planted about a month to maybe 5 weeks ago. But I want to just show you the difference in the ones that have the antenna and the ones that don't. This one has the antenna. You can see how it's growing. This one does not. This one has the antenna. This one does not. Antenna. No antenna. Antenna. No antenna. All of these containers have the same soil. The potatoes were all Pontiac red. They were all planted at the same depth. Now, on this side, I have them in every other container for the onions. And I'm going to plant the peppers in the center of these. And companion planting the peppers with the onions is also going to be a benefit. So guys, I hope you've seen for yourself. In my opinion, the ones with the antennas are doing better. Now, let's just say that only half of those will actually benefit the containers. I'm all about that if only 50% of it works. But we'll watch, and I'll keep you up to date as we go, and you'll be able to see more about it for yourself. But I'd encourage you to try it for yourself. Now, I make these antennas. These are a particular length. There's a reason for these loops. If you'd like to help support our channel, you can reach out to us through email at hillsmill.com, and we'll get some of these out to you. And let me just tell you that you can buy a whole box full of these for compared to some 50-pound bags of fertilizer that today is just outrageous. But you only buy this one time. So you can judge for yourself whether you think it works. But these are great for indoors, outdoors. You have hanging baskets or you have plants inside, just stick one in each one of those. It'll receive the electricity indoors just as well as outdoors. But I wanted to also give you the information that I get a lot of comments about as far as where I order my garden supplies and everything that I order. And so this is Martin's Produce. Now, they don't have a website, but you can Google them and reach out to them and they'll send you a catalog. But guys, I've been ordering for them from a long time, and they have a great service. So I just wanted to share this with you about my antennas. I've got the orchard antennas also, and our apple trees are blooming really well, and we'll get a video on that also. So guys, we really appreciate you watching the channel, and if you have any comments, send us some comments. I enjoy the comments. Maybe we'll all learn something. But I can tell you that if you'll just follow along the way I'm doing it, I think you'll have success as well. So make sure and hit the subscribe. Let us know what you think in the comments. Hit the like, the thumbs up, and all that good stuff. And we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.